So I haven't done a cooking video in quite some time, but believe me, I have been cooking like a crazy person. My husband retired almost 4 full months ago, and we have been making so many things out on the grill, in the kitchen, desserts, dinners, side dishes. I share them on Instagram, and you come back and ask me how did I make them. So in today's video, I'm gonna make 7 different things. This is probably gonna be a pretty long video, so let me tell you what my recipes are. So if you're not interested in one, you can use the timestamps that I'll put in the description box, and you can just kind of speed ahead and get to the recipes you want to see. So first, we're going to make fried okra. Old school, just like your grandmama used to do it, fried okra. As I'm filming this, it is July. The okra is in the garden, and we have made it so many times. My husband loves fried okra, and honestly, I do too. We just eat it like popcorn. We've made it with so many fantastic meals, so I'm going to show you how to do it the country style way. Then just last night, we made one of my very favorite dishes. This is a dish I've been making for probably 15 years, and I've always made it in the oven. My husband decided he wanted to give it a try on his brand new grill. Now, this is something called lemon chicken. This is not my recipe. I actually took it from Ina Garden. It is in one of her cookbooks, but I love it so much. I'm going to show you how I do it, and you can absolutely take this recipe, no modification needed. You can do it in the oven or on the grill, and it is super easy but so full of flavor. Then one night we decided to get a little crazy. We were doing pizzas in our outdoor pizza oven, and we decided to do s'mores but with a little spin. So we made Reese s'mores, and oh my goodness, are these delicious. And then since my husband retired, and he's not a breakfast eater, we have had the exact same breakfast every single morning for 4 months, and it's chia pudding with fruit and nuts. And then one day my husband said, hey, let's make a chocolate chip cake. And this is a recipe I shared with you all years before, but I honestly forget that I have it, but it is so simple and so delicious. And then my husband made his famous smash burgers. These are a super thin hamburger that you do out on the grill, and you have to have the tips and tricks to know how to make a delicious smash burger, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So all the recipes for everything in today's video will be listed out in the description box below, and there will be links if there's any special equipment I use. So let's get started with fried okra. So fried okra is very simple to do. You just need common ingredients, but you gotta know a couple tips. So the best fried okra is fresh okra. Get it out of a garden, get it from a friend if they have a garden, get it at your grocery store, but it has to be fresh. You cannot fry okra out of a can. And honestly, you can buy frozen fried okra that's breaded. That stuff is not good. I don't eat that. I only do fried okra in the summer when the okra is fresh out of the garden. So take your fresh okra, cut off the cap, and I like to cut off that very little right there at the end, and then cut it up into bite-sized pieces. And the number one most important thing you need to do after you cut up your fried okra is put it in a bowl full of milk or buttermilk. Either one will work just fine. Sometimes I'll do this in advance, a couple hours before I'm going to cook it, and other times it's just while I'm prepping the okra and I'm going to cook it right away. Doesn't matter how long it's in there, it just needs to be in milk or buttermilk. Add salt and pepper to your milk or buttermilk, and then just let it sit. Your breading is nothing more than cornmeal, and you can use salt and pepper if you want to. I actually prefer Mrs. Dash. You can find this at your grocery store. I use this on fried squash and fried okra. It's really the only time that I ever use Mrs. Dash, but it is perfect for fried okra. So when you're ready to start frying your okra, you want to have one bowl with your cornmeal and your Mrs. Dash combined. You want to have the bowl with your okra that has been sitting in the milk or buttermilk. And then you need a small pan on the stovetop with vegetable oil, and that oil needs to be pretty hot. I will test this with a little dash of my cornmeal, and if I get the psh, then I know it's hot. I don't use a thermometer, honestly, I just eyeball it. But if you put a piece of okra in there and it sinks to the bottom and doesn't do anything, your oil is not hot enough. You want it to go psh, and kind of come up to the top and start bubbling. So to bread your okra, I just like to take a handful of the okra that's in the milk or buttermilk mixture, just kind of, you know how okra is kind of snotty, right? Just kind of hold it in your hand and let that liquid fall off, and then drop it in the bowl with the cornmeal. Toss it around, make sure every piece of okra is fully coated in the cornmeal, and you want to do this in small batches, just about a small handful at a time. Once you've got that breaded, you're going to put it in your hot oil. It's going to take a couple minutes, get it as brown and crispy as you like it, and then take it out of that oil. Put it on a paper towel, and you want to salt it right then. I do just a little sprinkling of kosher salt and let it sit while I continue batch after batch. Now, if you're doing a ton of okra, or you feel like it's going to take you a while and you want to keep your okra warm, turn your oven on 200 degrees, and once you've done a batch of okra, just keep it in the oven. It will keep it perfectly warm until you're ready to eat. And when you do okra like this, the old school grandma way, it is crispy, it is crunchy. It doesn't have that weird okra texture to it anymore because you soaked it in milk or buttermilk. This is exactly how my mother-in-law has done it her entire life. She taught me how to do it, and I've been doing it this way forever. My father-in-law came over for dinner the other night, and of course I made him fried okra. It was his okra out of his garden, and he said, "This tastes just like my wife makes." And I said, "I know, she's the one that told me how to do it, and that's how I've always done it, so there you go." And he ate every single morsel. So let's talk about lemon chicken. So like I said in the intro, lemon chicken is a recipe that I got from Ina Garten. It is in her Barefoot in Paris cookbook, and it looks like this: lemon chicken with croutons. And when you look at the recipe in the cookbook, it looks a little intimidating, but I've done this so many times. It's one of our family favorites. It is so incredibly simple. I can whip it up. I don't even need to look at my recipe book anymore. And I do it a little more simply than Ina does it. So let me show you how. And you can do this exact same recipe in your oven. You can do it on your grill, which is what we did last night. So the footage I'm going to show you is of us doing it on the Big Green Egg, but nothing changes if you want to do it in your oven. So you're going to take a whole chicken, a roaster, and you are going to wash it really well, and you're going to pat it dry. You do not want a wet chicken. Take 2 yellow onions, cut them up pretty thin, and put them in the bottom of a very large roasting pan. Salt and pepper with a little drizzle of olive oil, and you want to put them in the pan so they're kind of lined up down the center, because ultimately you're going to put the chicken on top of those lemons, so the chicken is going to kind of protect them. If you spread them out in the pan, then they're kind of out there in the elements and they're going to get a little bit too burnt. So kind of group them up and just run them along the center of the pan. And you definitely want to make sure that your roasting pan has one of those like holders, the grid in it to hold your chicken. You don't want to set your chicken directly into the roasting pan on top of the onions. You need it elevated just a little bit. And most roasting pans, I'll link my favorite below, come with the rack that elevates your chicken just a little bit so that the air can get around the chicken and get it good and crispy on all sides. So now you've got a clean, dry chicken. You want to hold it open and salt and pepper the inside of the chicken, not the outside. Salt and pepper the inside and stuff it with lemons that you have cut in quarters. Depending on the size of your chicken will hold 1 or 2 lemons. And you want to make sure that your oven is preheated to 375 degrees. If you're doing it on your grill, you want it a little bit hotter. We were tinkering around with the temperature the whole time. I would say that you need to start out at about 425 if you're doing it on the grill. So now you've got the inside of your chicken seasoned and full of lemons, the outside of your chicken, set it down on that rack in your roasting pan, and it's going to be good and dry at this point. If it is not dry, take a paper towel and just pat it, because it absolutely has to be dry. Melt a half to a full stick of butter, and it just depends on the size of your chicken. But melt your butter, and you want to take a basting brush and slowly pour that butter onto the chicken. And because the chicken is cold and dry, that butter is going to kind of seize up. So you want to take your basting brush, move it all around the chicken. Make sure that every part of the top and the sides of the chicken, you don't have to do the underneath, but the breast, the wings, the legs, the entire top of that chicken is fully coated in butter. And then you want to salt and pepper it really, really well. This skin is going to turn golden brown and crispy. It is so delicious. So just trust me on this. Make sure it is coated in butter, it is seasoned well, your chicken is full of lemons, and you're ready to put it in the oven. And if you're using a meat thermometer, you want to put that in now. I'll use our favorite one below. Randy's meat thermometer has a standalone display, so he can actually come in the house and know what's going on with what's on his grill. But you can use a meat thermometer in the oven. You don't have to use a meat thermometer, but if you're going to, insert that now and put it in your oven or on your grill and just walk away. Do nothing, let it cook. And the time will vary depending on the size of your chicken. Typically we cook ours for about an hour and a half, but you must check the internal temperature of your chicken using a meat thermometer, and you need it to be 165 degrees. I actually prefer my chicken to be cooked to 170, if not a little bit higher. When your chicken is brown and golden and at least 165 degrees, you can take that chicken out of the oven. You want to leave it sitting in the roasting pan and just lightly lay a piece of aluminum foil over the top of the chicken. Don't completely enclose your chicken, just lay the foil on top and let it sit for at least 10 minutes. Just let it chill. Now, while your chicken is cooking, and typically this happens if you do it in the oven, if the wings that stick up start to get a little bit too cooked or too brown, just take a little piece of aluminum foil and put them over the wings. It'll be totally fine. So one thing you will notice, because I know you are going to check on your chicken, you will see that the onions underneath are starting to brown. They may even turn black. They may even get crispy, and you are going to freak out and think, oh my gosh, my onions are burnt. Do not panic. That's exactly what you want them to do. I know burnt onions sounds super strange, but in this meal, they really are the star of the show. So while your chicken is out of the oven and it's over here resting, you want to take a loaf of French bread. It can be Italian bread, and you want to cut this up into little bite-sized cubes. You're going to make homemade croutons. So just take a hot skillet, throw in your dry bread cubes, do a little bit of olive oil, a dash of salt and pepper if you want. You don't have to, and just toss them around every so often, and they will start to get crispy. They will start to get brown. You can season them if you want. I am strictly a salt and pepper kind of girl on my croutons, and you'll know when they're done because they're going to be hard and crisp, just like a crouton that you bought at the grocery store, but these are going to be so much better. So as you're cooking these, if you want to, you can continue to add just a little bit more olive oil and toss them around. You don't want them to turn black and crisp up immediately. You want the oil to give them just a little bit of moisture so that they will brown and not burn. Not a lot, just a little drizzle. When your croutons are done, cut your chicken up, get the pieces and parts that you love. I am a white meat chicken breast kind of gal, and I like to make this dish with mashed potatoes and sweet carrots, which is what we did last night. But the key is how you serve your lemon chicken. You want to put a big old pile of those croutons on your plate, and then take a huge scoop of those burnt onions and put them on top of your croutons, and then put your lemon chicken with that crispy skin on top, and it is divine. I had my leftovers for lunch today, and these are the croutons that I had left over from last night. Listen to this, perfectly crispy, because I kept them in one of my airtight canisters, and these are so great for salads. I will keep these. We're having a Caesar salad later this week, and I have homemade croutons. But trust me when I tell you, lemon chicken is a dish that you do not want to miss. My daughters, anytime they come over, request lemon chicken with croutons. It is a family favorite. It is so simple to do. Takes just maybe 10 minutes to prep your chicken, get it in the oven, and you will start noticing the smell in your house. It is incredible. And 2 hours later, you have an amazing dinner. So the other day, we were making a pizza on my husband's outdoor pizza kitchen. And I'm not going to get into pizza in this video. I have a full video tutorial on how to make your own pizza dough and the pizza oven and all the things. I'll link it down in the description box if you want to watch homemade pizza. But because we had the pizza oven fired up and it was hot, we decided to do s'mores in the pizza oven. But instead of regular s'mores, we made Reese s'mores, and they were incredible. The salt from the peanut butter, the sweet from the chocolate with the graham cracker and the marshmallow, it was amazing. So this is to say, it doesn't matter how you make your s'mores, give it a try using Reese's instead of regular chocolate. You can thank me later. So I said in the intro of this video that my husband and I have been eating the same exact breakfast every single morning for 4 months. And what is that, you ask? It is chia pudding. Who knew we would both become obsessed with chia pudding? And I blame this on my daughter because she is the one that started this. She started making chia pudding. She came over here one morning. We had somewhere we had to go, and she brought her breakfast and ate it here. And when I saw it, I was like, that looks amazing. How do you make that? She got me onto the recipe, and now we're obsessed. We cannot stop eating chia pudding. So in fact, this is what's in my refrigerator right now. We had some this morning, and this will be for tomorrow. It's super simple to make. I highly recommend that you make it in a glass dish and one that you can cover because you don't want the top of the pudding to dry out. So there are lots of ways to make chia pudding, but first of all, you have to have chia seeds. And these chia seeds are so good for you, but you have to hydrate them. You cannot just get them out of the bag. They're hard little seeds and eat them that way. You don't get the nutritional benefits. They have to be hydrated. So to make chia pudding, you can make it in any type of milk, any type of liquid. I like to use whole milk. So I put 1 cup of whole milk and 4 heaping tablespoons of chia seeds into the milk in the bowl, and I use a whisk to stir it up really well. And I want to just kind of let it sit. I come back to the bowl, I give it another stir, and you want the chia seeds to start to plump up. They want to hydrate themselves with the milk. And then I'm going to add yogurt. But you want to wait a couple minutes until the chia seeds have started to absorb the milk before you add the yogurt to the mix. Otherwise, the chia seeds just kind of fall to the bottom and it's really hard to combine everything. So I have an exact process. 1 cup of milk, 4 tablespoons chia seeds. With a whisk, I stir, I stir, I stir for about 2 minutes total, and then I add 1 cup of my favorite yogurt. You can use any yogurt that you want to, and we've actually made chia pudding with coconut milk too, by the way, but you can use whatever you like. This is our favorite yogurt because it's not super tangy and it is a low carb yogurt. I mix in 1 cup of yogurt into my bowl with the chia seeds and the milk. Give it a really, really good stir until everything is combined. Put a lid on it and pop it in the fridge. And you can give it about 30 minutes and you can eat it right then. But the quantity that I make here will give us 2 to 3 days worth of a breakfast for 2 of us. So when I go to make our breakfast, I will scoop out a little bit of chia seeds. I put pecans in both of our bowls and sometimes a little bit of granola, just a teeny, teeny bit. I love raspberries and blackberries on my chia pudding. My husband loves blueberries and bananas on his chia pudding. This is what we eat every single morning. It's cool, it's creamy. The crunch from the chia seeds is completely gone because they are hydrated in that milk. It is an amazing breakfast and it is so good for you. So if you've never tried chia pudding, trust me, give it a try and I guarantee you will love it. So let's move on to chocolate chip cake. This is one of my favorite cakes. It is a staple. It is super easy. You whip everything up in one bowl, put it in a bundt pan, and voila, you have a gorgeous cake that is great for dessert. You can heat it up for breakfast. It is delicious with ice cream on it. If you need to take a cake to an outing or a picnic, this is so perfect to do. And if you're being neighborly, you have somebody new that you want to introduce yourself to, a chocolate chip cake is a great thing to take along. So get out a really big mixing bowl and add to that 1 stick of softened butter, 1 cup of sugar, 2 eggs, and 1 cup of sour cream. Then you want to add 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon baking powder, a teaspoon of baking soda, a half a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of vanilla, and mix it really, really well. Make sure that you've greased your bundt pan really well using real butter and run that butter all the way up the sides of your bundt pan because the cake is going to rise and you want to make sure that your bundt pan is fully buttered. And your oven should also be preheated to 350 degrees. Now that you have everything mixed together, well combined, you want to add in 12 ounces of miniature chocolate chips. Yes, you can use regular size chocolate chips, but it's not going to be as good. Use the mini size. Put the chocolate chips in, mix it by hand really well. Put your mixture in the bundt pan, put it in the oven for 45 minutes. It's going to be golden brown. Test it with a toothpick. You want it to be fully cooked. Bring it out of the oven, let it sit for about 5 minutes to just get the hot heat off of it. And then you want to dump it upside down out of that bundt pan and you have a gorgeous chocolate chip cake that is loved by everybody. So you want to know how to make the perfect smash burger? Well, I'm going to let my husband show you. So you need to have a Blackstone or a flat top griddle that goes on your grill. We just have a griddle insert that we absolutely love. It's available on Amazon and you can get it in lots of different sizes to fit your particular grill. But take your ground beef, measure everything out. You want your balls to be the exact same size and shape. So go on and pat out your balls, have everything ready to go, have all your ingredients and all of your tools ready because smash burgers happen super, super fast. So when you're prepping your stuff to go out to the grill, take your mustard and a basting brush. This is the secret seasoning ingredient to a delicious smash burger. And while you're packing up your mustard and all your things, just know that to make a really good smash burger, we use a Cuisinart smash burger kit. In that kit, there are 4 things. There's pre-cut pieces of wax paper. There is a smash burger smasher. There is a very special spatula with an angled sharp edge that you absolutely have to have for your smash burgers. And there is a seasoning shaker. You want to have salt, pepper, garlic, whatever you want to go on your burger, already mixed up in that. My husband uses salt, pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder. And get everything outside by your grill. So my husband loves to cut up some yellow onions and put them on the grill with just a little bit of olive oil because we love sauteed onions on a smash burger. You don't want onions on yours, you absolutely don't have to do that. So you want to take your ground beef balls, put them on the flat top, cover them with a piece of wax paper, and then take the smasher and smash them flat. That is the key. Literally smash them flat. Remove the wax paper and go on to the next burger. Repeat that process over and over until all of your burgers are flat. Then you want to put a little bit of mustard on each burger and take your basting brush and brush that around on the burger, and then take your shaker and put on all of your seasonings on each of the burgers. Let them cook for just a little bit. You'll start to see that the edges are getting brown and crispy. And with your spatula, and that spatula has to have a very sharp edge to get underneath that burger and get it off of that grill. If you're using a regular spatula that doesn't have that sharp angled edge, you're going to tear up your burger. That's why you need to get the Cuisinart Smash Burger Kit. I'll link it below. Flip that burger, do the same thing on the other side, and in minutes, the burger's done. You can top it with bacon, cheese, onions, anything you want. Bring it in the house, put it on a bun, add some pickles, add your favorite condiments, fries, onion rings, however you want it. That is the perfect smash burger. So I hope you enjoyed the recipes. These are everything I've been cooking lately. If you have any questions about recipes or how to do something, drop me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. See ya.